It's really not surprising that JD Vance is the quintessential combination of ignorance and hate. After attacking Kamala Harris for being a childless cat lady and having millions of women say, "What the hell?" Now he's doubling down on it. Could be worse, though. You could be on his couch. In case you missed that story, there was a weird internet rumor that Vance, as a young man, had sex with couch cushions, which got me wondering if I missed out on something. Is that why my grandmother put plastic over the furniture? I mean, I had a Playboy under my mattress. What did Vance have? A showroom catalog? And that gives a whole new meaning to the phrase love seat.
Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. It's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it? We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
Now that's what Vance said, that had women across the country going, "What?" And in a moment you'll hear both him and Megyn Kelly try and spin it. But before we hear her take on Vance, let's hear her take on Trump.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals.
Megyn Kelly. I don't care about Megyn Kelly.
Trump is a sexual predator.
And yet after all that, Kelly supports Trump and says this should happen if Trump were to be held responsible for any one of the 91 things for which he was indicted.
The country's going to burn.
I love when Kelly says this isn't what people need to be talking about. Tell me one thing, one policy initiative other than build that wall that Trump articulated.
And the statement of Robert E. Lee, who's no longer in favor. Did you ever notice that? No longer in favor. Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow.
Yeah, well, there's that. And birth rates? Well, undocumented people average more children than white people. So why not give them amnesty and then encourage them to become citizens? Oh, yeah, I forgot. The color of their skin.
But you said George Floyd's death was a terrible thing.
Terrible.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people.
So now after saying these reprehensible things about men and women who don't have children, Vance doubles down.
He discussed the importance of children and brought up the fact that many top Democratic leaders don't have any kids, childless cat ladies, because this is what Americans who can't pay their mortgages care about. What were you trying to say?
I know the media wants to attack me and wants me to back down on this, Megyn, but the simple point that I made is that having children, becoming a father, becoming a mother, I really do think it changes your perspective in a pretty profound way. This is something, of course, we've recognized for hundreds of years in this country, that human civilization has always recognized. But there's a deeper point here, Megyn. It's not a criticism of people who don't have children. I explicitly said in my remarks, despite the fact the media has lied about this, that this is not about criticizing people who, for various reasons, didn't have kids. This is about criticizing the Democratic Party for becoming anti-family and anti-child.
Wait a second, JD. You called childless women cat ladies. Now you're calling them anti-family and anti-child? See, this is a new narrative for MAGA Republicans. Vance accepted the VP to stand alongside a man who, as you just saw, Megyn Kelly called a serial sex offender, and Vance said this about him.
I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place.
And of course, it's worse than just that. Trump is a sex offender, and he also tried to overthrow a democracy and is now threatening to arrest political opponents and the media. So at the heart of what you're witnessing is a window into these soulless beta chicklets who will assume the position to grab hold of any power.
We have to ask ourselves, Megyn, why do we have masking of toddlers years after the pandemic ended? Why do we have the Harris campaign coming out this very morning, Megyn, and saying that we should not have the child tax credit, which lowers tax rates for parents of young children? It's because they have become anti-family and anti-kid. And I'm proud to stand up for parents, and I hope that parents out there recognize that I'm a guy who wants to fight for you. I want to fight for your interests. I want to fight for your stake in the country, and that is what this is fundamentally about. The Democrats in the past 5-10 years, Megyn, they have become anti-family. It's built into their policy. It's built into the way they talk about parents and children, and it's time that we called that out. I don't think we should back down from it, Megyn. I think we should be honest about the problem.
Oh, you want the facts? Census numbers indicate that Democrats have more children than Republicans. But here's a little secret they whisper at their country clubs. They're brown and black. And MAGA is, if nothing else, characterized by these voices and this message.
And white people are done being bullied.
Discriminating against and just denigrating white people.
Trump's got to get in there and never leave.
JD Vance is not only a fraud, someone who knows what Trump has done and is capable of, but like the others in Trump's circle, JD sold out his integrity for a seat at the table. And it's a nasty table, full of people like Mike Flynn, who call for Trump to seize power and end voting, or Roger Stone, who call for a coup, or Trump's lawyer himself, who lobbied before the Supreme Court that Trump should be able to assassinate political opponents.
If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
And you guys have the balls to try and tell me what a family is? And this isn't about Democrats or Republicans. Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger are both conservative Republicans who have children and all that other BS you describe as necessary to be pro-family, and they stood up to you and spoke the truth.
Donald Trump's supporters are not violent people.
Fuck these Democrats!
I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
And JD Vance isn't done yet. He openly supports Alex Jones. Yeah, the same one.
I got myself into a little hot water last week. I made what seemed to me a plainly obvious observation that Alex Jones, the InfoWars guy, is a better source of information than Rachel Maddow, the MSNBC gal.
Yeah, Alex Jones, among other things, is headed for bankruptcy after court ruling said he owed the parents of 22 Sandy Hook children murdered by a crazed and well-armed young man tens of millions of dollars. Now, what did Jones say?
Alex Jones spread a conspiracy theory that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax and that the dead children were crisis actors.
Okay, let me get this straight, JD. You're a family man who believes that women who don't have children have nothing to contribute to our nation. But if they do have children and they're murdered like these kids were at Sandy Hook, you support the man who says it was all a fake, that no children died, and these grieving parents are actors trying to get gun laws passed. Well, JD, what a great guy you are.
A bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
I honestly don't know who's worse, Trump or Vance. Trump is mentally ill, a narcissistic sociopath who's unable to feel empathy and will go as low as rape, assault, and stealing money from kids' cancer, and then turn on anyone who stands up to him. Or JD Vance, a person who knows what he's saying is wrong and morally reprehensible, but goes ahead anyway.
You know, Dad, it's funny.
What's funny?
Well, whenever we cook inside, Mom always does the cooking. But whenever we cook outside, you always do it. How come?
Well, it's sort of traditional, I guess. You know, they say a woman's place is in the home, and I suppose as long as she's in the home, she might as well be in the kitchen.
That's the world that MAGA wants back, and that's why Kamala Harris is such a threat. She's a black stepmom who's also a fierce and badass prosecutor. She brought another man's family into her life and made them her own. And for JD Vance and Megyn Kelly and the rest of you Republican pricks, that's what family is about. You think their future is knocking out a litter of lookalikes who will follow your orders? That's not family, that's ego. Family isn't about blood, it's about caring for each other like a family. In living rooms across America, people will watch Trump and Kamala and clearly see the difference. Oh, and one more thing. If you're watching TV at JD Vance's house, I'd stay off the couch.
I'm ready, let's go.
Damn right.
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Don.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Damn right.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.